Okay, Torah Or Page Yudalid. We learned a few lines into the second column. We'll just start quickly again. Okay, being a symptom, this symptom that the Rebbe is speaking about until now, that in order for Elokus to be revealed into the world, it has to be tzimtzum, otherwise it's too much. So he said, there in the previous paragraph, the Rebbe said there's a tzimtzum b'derech panui, meaning in a way of siluk, the earth was removed, like we learned, versus a parsa curtain. Like he said, what does it mean, siluk? Not, God forbid, that you don't have it anymore. It just goes back to its source. Because the world cannot handle the way Elokus is by itself. There would be completely non-existent, and the Eivishter didn't want that. Hashem wanted a dir b'tachtonim. That means it's only the potential of revealing the infinite, not the actual revelation of infinite. It becomes concealed within him, that there shouldn't be a revelation of or, the essence itself. What the Rebbe is saying over here is the whole level of tzimtzum, of this removal, is only in or. It can be in the essence. Amar b'izgal is the more, the source is always revealed. This is where we're up to. Therefore, even little kids know the essence of Hashem exists. Like we learned in other places, what the Tzemach Tzedek brings down, that this great person said, I daven l'daza hatinik, I daven like a baby. Because over there it says, why do you daven and not get answered? Because you don't know how to reveal that particular or into the particular vessel to get the sustenance from Hashem. So he brings down over there an opinion that says, I daven like a baby. I don't know Atzilis, I don't know Bri, I don't know Yitzir. I know Hashem. He said that even little kids know that. And that's the essence of Hashem. They don't know Atzilis and Ak and Kesed and all that. They know Hashem. Even though they have absolutely no understanding how it is. Or they don't have the Gili. In the essence of Hashem, we learned already millions of times, there is no difference between the highest worlds and the lowest worlds. Hashem is the same in everything. The only difference is revelations. Higher worlds have greater revelations, lower worlds have lower revelations. But essence, there is no difference before and after. Therefore, this symptom of siluk is called makom pani v'cholol. It's an empty place, meaning shulcholol v'reik min ha'or. It's empty from revelations. Shein be'ha'or v'izgalus klal. There is no revelation. There's only the essence. Alanisha b'koach b'mod. The revelation remained in a potential state in this source. K'mo shel nefesh, take the nefesh. When it comes into the body, nira gili achayis, shaba shemachayis aguf. Okay, it's like the neshama comes into the body. The second the neshama comes into the body, you see life. The body's alive. Avokadun baya laguf, but before the neshama comes into the body, avol pishesh b'koyach achayis lachis aguf b'stabshustaba. Even he's saying like this. When the nefesh comes into the body, then you see life. Now there's no question the nefesh has that power of life without the body. But it's not functioning. There's nowhere to function it. It's like, again, like the battery. Before you put it in, when it's in the container, you buy the battery in, yeah, it has power. But it's just potential power. It's not actual power because it's not in anything yet. So before the nefesh comes into the guf, it's potential power. Now the nefesh comes into the guf, it's actual power, actual life. The neshama's power, again, the battery's power is potentially all there. It's all potentially there. It's just not revealed. As long as it's not in the body to give it life. And to reveal. In other words, once the neshama comes in the body, then the potential is actualized, it's revealed, and then the neshama gives life to the body. And it comes from the concealed power of the neshama, of life, to the revealed. When you have a brilliant guy, yeah, as long as he's not revealing his brilliance, it's only there in the potential. He's not revealing it yet. Sometimes if he doesn't even think about it, he's not even revealing it to himself. That doesn't mean he's not a chacham. He's the same chacham. It's just potential versus revealed.
Is it the same line now, or we changed it?
No, same line. It's like it says, even to himself, as long as you're not dealing with that wisdom, the wisdom is there. The midah, the feeling is there. It's just not revealed.
Where does the source of potential come
From Hashem's power of potential. But the difference is, in Elokus, ein koyach chasapel. Potential is not lacking the actual. By us, potential lacks the actual. When you deal with the level of chokhmah, then it's revealed within the person. Then it's revealed either to somebody else or even to yourself. But in a time when you're not thinking about the wisdom, it's only the potential. He has the potential to understand, to occupy himself with Askola. In other words, if a brilliant genius is playing ball, okay, that doesn't make him less brilliant. It's just that brilliance is not revealed. It's only the potential. But he could at any moment reveal it to himself. And he says the same thing, okay? A person could see. But if you close your eyes, you still have the power of sight. It didn't disappear. It's just in the potential state, not in the actual state, because it's not coming into the vessel yet. If he's going to close the eye, the power of sight is there 100%. It doesn't come into an actual seeing until he opens his eyes. Same thing walking. Okay, in this part, Alter Rebbe is just bringing out one point. We have powers that are in the potential state, like the nefesh before it comes into the body, the power of eyesight when you close the eyes, the power of seichel when you don't deal with it. It's in the potential state. Then when you reveal it, it becomes into the actual state. So he says that's the same thing l'mayla. In the tzimtzum, he's talking about tzimtzum arishin. Or like he said before, the same way in a certain way is between higher than Atzilus and Atzilus. Not like between Atzilus to Bria and Yetzirah, over there say curtain. Curtain is not a removal of the light. You're just blocking the light. Tzimtzum arishin is removal of the light from the actual to the potential. Okay, and he's saying clearly, this emptiness of potential is only as far as the actual revelation goes. It's not there anymore. It's not empty because the source is there. You can't remove the source. You're just removing the revelation of the source. Nevertheless, Avitzavas Esesvias Chochma Bina. B'Shem Eires. Okay, he says like this. The truth of the matter is, when we speak about revelations of Hashem, we speak about Or, light, right? More light, less light, more concealed, less concealed. Who compared the revelations of Elokus to Or? That is how he's saying. Okay? But you can't compare the two. The revelation of godliness is not a revelation of light. You know, sometimes a person's sitting and all of a sudden they get a brainstorm, you know, like a light goes off in their body. It doesn't mean a light went off, somebody plugged in a bulb and it went on. It's different terms. It's a different term of a revelation. Now, by us, we have no other way of revealing a revelation except the concept of light. Even though there's a lot of different other types of revelations. That because the Arizal like it. Nim Chayis and Nim Shmei Tov through Chochma and Bina in the name of Eretz, which is Eretz Hashemesh Hayetze Me Hashemesh Shemer, like the light of the sun. Lakach Kodalat Simsim. Therefore, what the Arizal called that Simsim Hashanich or Bamor, what the light goes back to the potential state, Neka B'Shem Makom Pani is called Makom Pani. Shes Almas Ha'er, which is the concealment of the light, from the revealed back to the potential. And therefore this is called lacking of light. Acha B'Shem Klau. Lias Nika B'Shem Chochma, you can't even call it Chochma. Afilu Chakim Leiba Chochma Yadia, Sheina Murgesh Afilu B'Koyach. In other words, he says like this. Before the nefesh functions, you can't even say it's Chochma. Because Chochma is when it's functioning. Chochma is when it functions. When do you see Chochma? When it functions. Right? Eyesight is only functioning when you see. When you don't see, it's not functioning. But it's there. So Makom Pani, when Hashem had to, so to speak, remove all the revealed back to the potential, that level is called Makom Pani. Even though it's not really empty, because Hashem is there. The Seichel is still there. The power of sight is still there. It's just not functioning. In order to create from the infinite revelation of Hashem, to create a finite world, Hashem couldn't limit it. You couldn't cut it in half, because half of infinite is infinite. You can't just cover it by limiting it with the cover, because infinite cannot become limited. Right? So what did Hashem do, bottom line, to create a finite world? Hashem removed the revelation of infinite, put it back into the potential state, and then re-revealed a limited level of godliness to create a limited world. That's all he's saying over here.
Is that exaggerating?
Exaggerating what?
Simplifying it.
Huh?
God removed himself, and then
He didn't remove himself. That's what Dal Rebbe is exactly saying, but it's not. He didn't remove himself. He removed his revelation, his functioning. So you limit your functioning. That doesn't mean you're not there, because you're not functioning. That's why he brought out the mashal of the neshama.
Couldn't we categorize it as a theory?
It's not a theory of evolution, no.
Rabbi, what is the difference between when the neshama goes up? So we can say the neshama goes back to potential?
Correct. But as we're reading in Chitas these days, in Siman Chav Zayin and the Biur, what it says in Zayah, it's found more in the world than it is out of the when it's alive. Because down here, when the neshama is in the body, it's limited in place. The neshama can be in two places. Number one, you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to function. So then that all limits the neshama in a particular body. But once the neshama leaves the body, it's not restricted by anything anymore. Neshama could be a million places. We learned already, remember Eliyahu Navi. How is Eliyahu Navi able to be at every single bris? Or every single seder, or every whatever? How is it possible? But Eliyahu Navi, when he came into a body, like Rav Amnuna Savi, he had to save the older Rav Amnuna, and therefore he had to come into a body, so therefore he couldn't come to the yeshiva that day. Because once it's in a body, it's limited. So, where is an neshama limited more in or out of the body? Definitely in the body. But we don't want people out of bodies, we want people in bodies. Okay? We want v'chai b'hem. Hashem wants the person should live. But one in neshama, even of a tzaddik, a Rebbe's neshama in a body is still limited. Has to eat, has to sleep. It can only be in one place at any time.
So the potential without the keli can function?
Only in the potential state. But in Elokus, because ein koyach l'sepoil, the potential, and that's what we said. In yesterday's Hayom Yom Chamishi b'Shabbos, but the Rambam doesn't say simple things. Okay? If David Malch says, Im Yetzer Ayin Halo Yabit, if Hashem forms an eye, can he not see? Anayta Ezen, if he makes an ear, Halo Yishmak, what is David Malch saying? David Malch saying that Lamaila, the potential is the actual. It's hard for us to grasp it because our brains are
Actual.
But by us, my potential, if I have the potential to learn and I don't, it's no good, right? By the Eibishter, by Hashem, the potential is the actual. And that's what he says, Hayetzer Ayin, if Hashem can make potential, Haloyabe, can he not even see in the potential? Do we get it? No, because our brains are limited. Very limited, by the way.
So that's why when we got into a Sunday,
1 second, what?
When I do a mitzvah, what am I doing?
Right now, you're not revealing anything. You are connecting yourself to not to the ray of Hashem, not to the revelation of Hashem, to the essence of Hashem. Now, at the present, that revelation, that essence cannot be revealed. When Mashiach, in other words, to use modern language, when you do a mitzvah, the connection goes into a trust fund. The trust fund will be usable when Mashiach comes.
Only then?
But the trust fund is real. There is an actual trust. So money's in it's straight deposit.
So not in the next world, even in the next world?
No, the next world is the ray of a Shekhinah. It's nothing.
So only when Mashiach.
Correct.
Now, Rabbi, the author here, he speculates what...
He's not speculating. He says what the facts are.
Rabbi, but you said yourself that for us to even trying to define
For
what
us...
God is, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
For us even to try to define what God is very arrogant and
Not arrogant. Not arrogant.
It's silly.
It's impossible.
Because it's impossible. So how can here the author come and actually say with such certainty exactly how God treats himself, limits
First
himself?
of all,
How does he know?
he's saying
He
what
doesn't
that...
know.
he's
He
saying...
can't know, like according to what you said.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay, good. First of all, the Alter Rebbe is only saying what the Arizal says. He's not saying anything of his own. Secondly, and that's primary, we can't, because our neshama is very, very limited.
Yes.
Because we are affected by the body.
Limited.
Very limited and restricted based on our behavior. A person who refined the body that does only what's right that does only what's right, that body doesn't conceal the neshama. And therefore, like Dr. Rebbe says in what we're reading now in Chitas, the life of a tzaddik is ein chayim besarim. It's not physical life. A tzaddik's life is spiritual. The body of the tzaddik, because he refined himself to such an extent, is actually not limiting the neshama. Their neshama sees things in the body that me and you don't even have a faintest idea about. Now, because we are so present, not you, you're holy. Present, we are so coarse and so mundane and so corrupt and so everything, so our body actually blocks the neshama. So therefore we can haka chainik. These tzaddikim, the Arizal, the Alter Rebbe, all those great tzaddikim, the Rabbi, their neshama was not blocked by the body. They worked on their body. There's a story with the Rebbe Rashab's birthday is this week of Cheshvan. He once did something, a minhag, a custom, whatever. Somebody asked him what's the source of it. So the Rebbe Rashab said, right now I don't remember the source, but I know one thing, and these are great. It's not haughtiness of your ego. He said, but one thing I do know: from the time I was bar mitzvah, the Rebbe Rashab said I worked on my body to only do what's right, and therefore, if I did it, there's a source for it. Later, he found a source for it, but he said, I refined my. Now, me and you, not me, me. Yes, just his body was not getting in the way. His body, many times you have more refined people can understand something more refined intellectually, and sometimes you have coarse people that don't get anything holy. Right?
Yes.
Okay. The Chassidim of the Rebbe Rashab used to say they're working on refining the body that they should understand the Maimer better of the Rebbe Rashab. They should understand the Chassidic discourse better. Because if it's a coarse body, how in the world do you think you can understand something spiritual? So these tzaddikim, we can't understand what it means. That's why they're able to perform miracles. Therefore, they're able to see things we don't see. Okay? This is not only Chassidish Baba Maisis. It says, why are tzaddikim called Einei Ha'eda? In Chumash, they're called the eyes of the community, because they see what we don't. How could they see what's going on upstairs when we don't? Because their body and neshama is greater body, greater neshama, and therefore they can see it's not in the way like me and you. We see mud, and they see holiness.
The neshama of a tzaddik is a reputation, so when we dive into a tzaddik...
You don't dive into a tzaddik, that's not courses.
No. When
of a desire.
you ask for a bracha from a tzaddik.
You ask a tzaddik to intervene.
Yes, that's
Not as a separate entity, because that's Havei Dezorah, that's a sheet of, okay? You're asking the tzaddik as my head. If the foot has an issue, that the head communicates. Where it's ingrown toenails, we have an issue, we communicate, we ask our head to communicate for us.
Yes, when we do that, his neshama is in a potential state, so he can make it happen.
No, his neshama is an actual state.
Which is potential.
When he's alive.
Which is potential.
Actual, I said.
Here the Rebbe says potential is actual.
Lemaila.
Lemala, that's what.
Yeah, but the shaila is in Kerech Chosed Pel doesn't work, but I said, I don't know, maybe. But it's not that the Rebbe went to the park, had a brainstorm and said, okay, let's do this.
But it's Ruach HaKodesh also, it's not just...
Ruach HaKodesh is very low level.
Nevuah?
Huh?
Nevuah?
There's Baskel, there's Ruach HaKodesh. That's a Gemara in Saita. Okay, the Baskel is lower than Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach HaKodesh is higher. Then you have Nevuah, you have Gil Eliyahu. I mean, I don't know exactly which level, but the different levels of revelations of godliness.
I'm saying the altar was also
also using nevuah. It's not just based.
This is not nevuah. Why is it nevuah? It says in Ayayim Yayim, the Rabbi brings down that all the Torah Mechaberim, all the Torah authors, through the Shach and Taz, all wrote their commentaries with Ruach HaKodesh, which means, as the Rebbe quotes in Ayayim Yayim, to look at the carbon, the sun all over there, that which means it's a level of revelation of kedusha, of godliness. So when they wrote their things, it was Ruach HaKodesh.
So how do you explain the machloket that there is between Chachamim so often?
Because what?
How do you explain machloket ben Chachamim that is so prevalent?
Because Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chayim. Both are right.
One of them is true.
No, one of them, no. They're both right. In practical halacha, one's right. Is this table big or small? What do you mean you don't know?
Because there are a lot of different tables, right?
This table is big or small?
This table is big or small?
Yeah.
It's both relative.
I don't know what to say. If I say small...
Is this table big or small? You don't understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
It's both.
Okay.
Because it's relative. I can say it's small. It says, are you kidding me? It's very big. I can say it's very big and you say,
Okay.
are you kidding me?
No,
It's very
okay.
small.
So now let me ask you a question.
Why are you asking me this?
Because I'm answering your question, Chacham. If I say the table's big and you say the table's small, are we necessarily disagreeing? Compared to the room, it's small. Compared to the little ant, it's big. So are one of us, woman, are we both right or we're both wrong?
The question is...
One's right or one's wrong? Answer me, what the?
I'm going back to...
If I say, well, see, you're good. If I say the table's big and you say the table's small, can we both be right?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? So you don't know, so don't ask questions.
What's so funny?
Because I'm answering you and you say, I don't know.
No, because I'm sorry to be blunt. It's a silly question. I don't understand the wisdom of this question. Is the table big or small?
Because when somebody says it's kosher and once Rabbi says it's not kosher,
Then they can have it, they have a criteria, they have a very well-defined criteria to go and check whether it's kosher or not.
No,
But when you
this
say
opinion says-
small or big, small for what? It doesn't even relate to anything but to be fitting anywhere or anything. I can say it's small, I can say no, it's big. So where are we going with this?
to answer your question,
I didn't ask a question, you asked me a question.
Oh, by the way, Rabbi, what is the rate again? How much do you charge per question?